Now let's do the revision of the chapter number 5 from the plastid. Plastid are present only in the plant cell, and according to color pigmentation, it is divided into the three types. First one, that is a chromoplast, second leucoplast, and the third one, that is a chloroplast. The chromoplast, it is a colored plastic, whereas the leuco means the absence, or you can say the colorless. It is a white or the colorless plastic. Whereas the third one, that is of chloroplast, which contains the pigment of chlorophyll, and due to that it possesses the green color. Now let's see the structure of the plastid. The internal organization of the plastid consists of numerous membrane layers which embedded in a material called the stoma. The internal organization of the plastid consists of a numerous membrane layer which is embedded in the material. It's called the stoma. Plastid have their own DNA and the ribosome like a mitochondria and the similar to its structure. Till now we see the two kinds of organelles, one that is of mitochondria, it possesses their own DNA and it possesses their own ribosome. The second, that is of plastid, it also have their own DNA and the ribosome like a mitochondria. Now let's see the function of the plastid. The first that we see the chloroplast. So the chloroplasts are important for the photosynthesis in the plant because the chloroplast contains the chlorophyll, which is a green color pigment and which is responsible for the synthesis of the food. This chlorophyll is trap the sunlight and convert this photo energy into the chemical energy by the process called the photosynthesis, and due to that the plants is making their own food. The chloroplast is also contains the various yellow and the orange pigments in addition to the chlorophyll. Chloroplast, it possesses the chlorophyll, but it is also possess the yellow or the orange pigmentation in it. The next one, that is of a leucoplast. Leucoplasts are primarily organelles in which the material such as a starch, oil and the protein granules are stored. As we see, the leucoplasts and the chloroplasts and the chromoplasts both are the helpful for the photosynthesis. Wherever the photosynthesis occurs, whatever the food is produced, which is used for the various function of the body. Whatever the remain food, that is stored as a form of the starch. So this storage work, that is done by the leucoplast. So the leucoplasts are the primary organ in which the material such as a starch, oil and the protein granules are stored. Now let's see the another organelle, that is called the vacuoles. Vacuoles are a storage sacs for solid or liquid content. It is a bag-like structure and its main function is a storage. So it is also known as a storage sac. Vacuoles are storage, a sac for the whatever the solid is there, solid contains, liquid contents of the cell, that all the contents is stored at the vacuoles. That's why it is known as a storage sac. They are a small size in animal cell. If we are talking about the size in the animal cells and the plant cell, then it is a very minute, or you can say very small in size in animals, or maybe absent also in the animal cell, but in the plant cell it is a bigger in size, or you can say it is a very large in size. Now let's see the function of the vacuoles. The central vacuoles of some plant cell may occupy 50 to 90% of the cell volume. As I told you in the previous point that in the plant cell it is a larger in size. So in the plant cell, if we are talking about the total cell volume, then approximately 50 to 90% of that volume which is occupied by the vacuoles. So the central vacuoles of some plant cell may occupy 50 to 90% of the cell volume. Means it is a larger in size, you can see in the plant cell. In plant cell, the vacuoles are full of cell sap and they provide the turgidity and the rigidity of the cell. What is the another function of the vacuoles? That in the plant cells, the vacuole are full of cell sap, and it is also provide the mechanical support, like provide a turgidity and the rigidity to the cell. Another function that many important substances in the life of the plant cell are stored in the vacuoles. Whatever the substance which is required for the biochemical process, that all the substance which is stored at the storage sac, means at the vacuoles. So which kind of substance? That includes amino acid, sugars and the various organic acid and some protein as well, that is stored in the vacuoles. So the many important substance in the life of the plant cell are stored in the vacuoles, which include amino acid, sugars, various organic acid and some proteins. In the single-celled organism like amoeba, as we see in the 6th number chapter, that in the Holozoic mode of nutrition, the food which is engulfed by the amoeba, by the pseudopodia, after that, that food is covered by the vacuoles. It's called the food vacuoles. And these food vacuoles then after the secrete the digestion, and whatever the digested food that is absorbed by the vacuoles, and the rest of the undigested food thrown outside the body. So in the single cell organism like amoeba, the food vacuoles contains the food item that is consumed by the amoeba. Let's see the next one. In some unicellular organisms, the specialized vacuoles also play an important role in the expelling excess water and some waste from the cell. As I told you in the amoeba, means in some of the unicellular organism, in that this vacuole plays a very crucial or very important role. Which kind of important role? It is also help to explain the excess water and some waste from the cell. Means it is also help to maintain the water level inside the cell, as well as whatever the waste which is produced in the cell, that waste is also accessed from the body. So in the unicellular organism, the specialized vacuoles also play an important roles in the expelling excess water and some of the waste from the cell. Now once upon we will revise all the vacuoles. First, all the organelles. First organelles that we have seen, that is endoplasmic reticulum, means the ER. The endoplasmic reticulum, it is a larger network of the membrane-bound tubes and the sheath. It's look like a long tubules or a round, or you can say the oblong bags, means the vesicles. The ER membrane is a similar in the structure to the plasma membrane because it is made up by the same like a plasma membrane with the lipid and the protein. According to surface, it is divided into two types: rough endoplasmic reticulum and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Now let's see the function of the endoplasmic reticulum. IER means the rough endoplasmic reticulum. It is a look rough under a microscope because it particles called the ribosomes attached to the surface. These ribosomes, which are present all active cell, are the site of the protein manufacture. The manufactured protein are then sent to the various places in the cell depend on the need using the ER. The second one, that is of SER, means the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, which helps in the manufacture of the fat molecules, lipid, and they also perform the various cell function. Some of these the protein and the lipid which is help to construct the cell membrane, or you can say it is help to building the cell membrane. So this process is known as a membrane biogenesis. Some other proteins and the lipid function as it is done the uh, that enzyme which is protein in nature and some of the hormone. So this protein and lipid is used for the making of the enzyme and the hormone. Although that the ER is varies greatly in the appearance in the different cell, it always forms a network system. One function of ER is to serve as a channel for the transportation of the material, especially the protein which is synthesized by the ribosome, between the various region of the cytoplasm or between the cytoplasm and the nucleus. The ERs also function as a cytoplasmic framework which provide a surface for the some of the biochemical reaction, means the chemical activities of the cell. In the liver cell, the group of animals, in the liver cells of the group of animals called the vertebrate, in the SER means the smooth endoplasmic reticulum plays a crucial role in the detoxification of the many poisonous and the drugs. Now the next organelles, that is of a Golgi apparatus. The Golgi apparatus consists of a system of membrane bound vesicles which is arranged approximately parallel to each other, and it is a stalk-like structure that called the cistern. These membranes often have a connection with the membranes of the ER and therefore the constituent another portion of the complex cellular membrane system. Now let's see the function of the Golgi body. The material synthesis near the ER means the endoplasmic reticulum, whatever prepared material, that packaging work is done at the Golgi body. Packaging and the dispatch work. Its function include the storage, modification, packaging of the product in the vesicles. In some case, the complex sugar may be from simple sugar in the Golgi apparatus. And the Golgi apparatus, it is involved in the formation of the lysosome. If asked that which organelles is involved in the formation of the lysosome, then the answer is Golgi apparatus. Now the next organelles, that is of lysosome. Lysosome are the kind of waste disposal system of the cell. It helps to keep the cell clean by the digesting and the foreign material as well as worn out the cell organelle. The lysosome have a membrane bound structure whose sac are filled with the digestive enzyme, and the digestive enzyme work is do the digestion. Now let's see the function of the lysosome. Lysosome breaks the foreign material entering the cell and such as a bacteria or the food as well as the old organelles into the small pieces. They contain the powerful digestive enzyme which are made up by the ribosome in the RER, means the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and which is capable of the breaking down all the organic material made in RER. So during the disturbance in the cell metabolism, such as when the cell get damaged, then the lysosome may burst and it is enzyme digest their own cell. Due to this reason, the lysosome is also known as a suicidal bag of the cell. If asked why the lysosome is known as a suicidal bag of the cell, then the answer is during the disturbance in a cell metabolism activity, such as a cell get damaged or the lysosome may be burst. Due to that enzyme is released in the cell. So this Enzyme means the lysosome is digest their own cell. That's why it is known as a suicidal bag. Now the next organ that is of organelles, that is of mitochondria. Mitochondria is also known as a powerhouse of the cell. Let's see the structure of the mitochondria. Mitochondria have a two membrane, and the outer membrane is very porous and the inner membrane that is of folded one. This fold is create a large surface area for the production of the ATP. ATP means the adenosine triphosphate. It is a energy currency, or you can say the currency of the cell. Now let's see the function of the mitochondria. The energy required for the various chemical activities which is needed for the sustained life of the cell is released by the mitochondria in the form of ATP. ATP means the adenosine triphosphate. And ATP is known as the energy currency of the cell. If asked why the ATP is known as the energy currency of the cell, then the answer is the body uses energy stored in the ATP for the making a new chemical compound and for the mechanical work. And another most important point that mitochondria have their own DNA and the ribosome. Therefore, the mitochondria are able to make some of their own proteins. Now the next plastid that we already see in this video only. Plastid present in the plant cell, and according to the appearance it is divided into three parts: chromoplast, leucoplast and the chloroplast. Chromoplast is a colored plastic, whereas the leucoplast is colorless, or you can say the white in color, and the chloroplast which is a green in color due to possessing of the chlorophyll. Now let's see the structure of the plastid. The internal organization of the plastid consists of a numerous membrane layer embedded in the material that is called the stoma, and the plastid also have a own DNA and the ribosome. Only two organelles have their own DNA and the ribosome, that is of mitochondria and the plastid. Now let's see the function of the plastid. The chloroplasts are the important for the photosynthesis in the plant. Chloroplasts also contain the various yellow and the orange pigment addition to the chlorophyll, and the leucoplasts, their main function is the storage of the fat, oil and the protein. Now the next organelles, that is of vacuoles. The vacuoles are the storage sac for the solid or the liquid contents, and they all are thus generally small in the animal cell, and it is a very large in the plant cell. Now let's see the function of the vacuoles. The central vacuoles of the some plant cell may have occupied approximately 50 to 90% of the cell volume. So it is very big in the size in the plant cell. Now the next point, in the plant cell, vacuoles are full of the cell shape and they provide the turgidity and the rigidity to the cell. Many important substances in the life of the plant cell are the stored in the vacuoles, which is include the amino acid, sugar, various organic acid and some protein. Means the main function of the vacuole, that is of storage. In single cell organism like amoeba, the food vacuoles contains the food item that is the amoeba has consumed. Now next point, in some of the unicellular organism, the specialized vacuoles also play an important role in the explaining the excess water and some waste from the cell. So these all are the organelles and their functions. I hope you all are understand this chapter well. And in next video we will see the question answer related to this chapter. I explain each and every question answer. After explaining the question answer, you have to write down that question answer in the fair science notebook, and you have to send homework throughout the app. Thank you.